name is Marty Vandenbosch. I run a small Facebook site called Gardening in the Fraser Valley, and this is my garden. So just start here on the side. These are different pickling cucumbers that I picked up from West Coast Seeds in the local store here. As you can see, they're growing up some wire trellises. These are actually rebar I got from the local hardware store. I spray painted them with Tremclad, and they work great. They're inexpensive and they last year after year. As you can see, I have some honeybees here. Honeybees are a fantastic source for pollinating the plants, and as well, I grow Dutch white clover for my lawn. The white clover also helps bring in a lot of different pollinators, butterflies, dragonflies, honeybees. And because I don't use any pesticides or herbicides, I also want to bring in a lot of diversity. It helps to balance the good bugs out with the bad, and it really helps balance out the garden. This is an overall view of the garden. I use raised beds with a drip irrigation system. I find the raised beds work really nice here. They help heat the soil up a little bit earlier in spring and give me a little bit of a head start. And the raised beds also help me control the weeds. Because I don't spray or do anything, all my walkways, I pretty much let anything native grow there. So any bugs that like native stuff tend to prefer that over my veggies often. And that's just a bonus. Here's the tall aldermans. These are shelling peas. They did really well this year. Again, I'm using some of the wire mesh from the hardware store and just framed it up on its side, and I can kind of pull in and go in between the rows as I need to. Over here I've got some of my tomato plants. I start tomato plants inside under high output T5s, and I bring them out here after probably about late April, usually May. I'm a little early when I plant stuff, and I plant them in a trench design, which means I lay them on their side and poke the top out and then cover them, because they're a nightshade and they'll grow roots along anything I bury, and it helps me give me a good head start. Right now, as you can see, there's a lot of tomatoes going on. I think I even got some of them ripening there. The plants right now are anywhere from 3 feet to 7 feet tall, really depending on the variety. Most of my grow are indeterminate. Here's some corn. The corn that I grow is SH2, which is a triple sweet. There's a Serendipity, which is a West Coast seed brand that I don't see on the site anymore. I also grow Candy King. I think it's King Candy or Candy King, and Peaches and Cream. They're all SH2, which is a triple sweet variety. You really shouldn't mix the different sweetness levels, or they get some starchy corn. My asparagus is on the second year of me growing it, so I leave it alone. I haven't harvested any. I wait till the third year for that, so it's really big and bushy right now, which is great. Lots of crowns for next year. And I love making fermented hot sauces, so as you can see, I have lots of hot peppers. I have Roxanti organic cucumbers from West Coast Seeds. These were a bit pricey. I think it was $8 for 5 seeds, but I tell you what, these have been producing crazy and have been producing early, and I can pick almost every day a couple of cucumbers. It's just crazy what 5 little plants are giving me. And here's my garlic. As you can see, the yellow tips are coming. I shut off water a couple weeks ago. I try to shut off the water about 3 weeks to 4 weeks before harvesting, just so that as the leaves die off, they don't rot around the bulbs, and I keep the cloves, the storage is better that way, I find. And as you can see, I've got some monstrous squash there. That's a winter squash. It was supposed to be some saved seeds of butternut squash and curry kabocha, but I think by the size and monstrosity of the plants that they've probably cross-pollinated, and we'll find out what happens come fall, I guess. And we have some eggplant here. The eggplant was started inside as well and transplanted out here. Unfortunately, I transplanted it during a hot spell, which means that I had to give it a bit of shielding. So I actually used my window screen there and screened it from the sun so they can get healthy and settle in while the sun was baking. Oh, there's a honeybee right now. As you can see, the plants are doing really well. You can still see a couple of the clutches from early spring. I haven't cleaned up, but that was to cover my hot peppers when I put my hot peppers out a little early to give them a good head start. And I'll just show you my artichoke. This is the first year of growing artichoke. They've done really well. Again, it's something I've started inside as well and brought outside. These are fantastic looking plants. I just love them in the garden. They look really cool. As you can see, they're producing very well. And that's about it. I have a lot of other plants here that are starting to bolt. My broccoli's bolting, my cilantro's bolting, which will give me coriander or the seeds, and my lettuce and spinach are bolting. I tend to let things bolt. I like to keep the seeds, as well as it helps encourage the pollinators to come visit the garden. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm out of time. Thank you for looking.